Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all flesh and blood appropriate ages, it's another episode of the Stack FAB edition. I am joined again, our first returning champion, I guess we'll say, Mr. DMArmada, Stephen Cookus. How are you, my friend?
Good. I've been coughing a lot today, but I'm good. My throat's a little tired, but I'm going to sip on some water and hang out with my buddy Flake.
Well, that's it. That's why we didn't bring you in for a full instant speed episode, where we're going to bring you in for the shorter stack. You can stay, hydrated, stay moist, keep that windpipe moist. That might be one of the most awkwardest of all time entries.
Sound off in the comments if you enjoy that word being used. Let me just say it again. Moist.
It is the stack. If you are unaware of how this works, I'm going to throw with a reckless abandon at Stephen Cookus 9 statements pertaining to Flesh and Blood, and he has to let me know, do they resolve, as in holy crap, that's genius, or they fizzle, as in holy crap, that's stupid. So how do you feel about that, Armada? You all on board, buddy?
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
That sounds great. You come up with great questions, so I'm ready to crush this.
Runeblades are just inherently stronger than any other class.
Yeah, I'd say that resolves. I think it resolves simply because they can play with both damage types, and they can do it very well. It's one of those scenarios where if the game gives you 2 ways to attack your opponent and you can abuse both of them, well, you're basically asking your opponent, which one do you want to stop more? Because it's unlikely for them to be able to stop both well or to the best degree. So you're asking the question, which one do you want to stop more? And it just so happens that there are some very, very powerful cards printed for the Runeblade class. So yeah, I'll say it resolves.
Okay, this is basically off the back of the fact that, hey, Prism is living legend. Hooray for some. The statement being, with Prism gone, Oldhim is the next big polarizing hero. As in, people are going to love it or hate it and just ache for this to be gone.
All right, so I voted in this poll that you posted on Twitter, and I voted for Oldhim as the most hated hero going forward. So I say this resolves. 100% resolves. I think Oldhim is already an incredibly polarizing hero. He has been since his inception. People don't like the fact that you can just block the entire game and lose, to that person that's just blocking. And I think it's more nuanced than that. But personally, I don't enjoy playing against Oldhim. I do actually enjoy playing Oldhim, which is kind of funny. But I do think it's going to be the deck that people don't want to go up against.
Multi-class or multi-talent heroes are a good thing.
I say yes. I think it's a really good thing in general. And it could be bad if done poorly, but I think it is good. So I say that resolves. It's a good thing because what this allows... Just think about what the game has right now. The game has a bunch of disparate card pools that are split off and splintered off in many directions. And one hero can really only access that, right? Can only access a couple of those at any given time. But the moment you start printing multi-class heroes, you're starting to have the ability as a player, especially someone who's played for a long time, to pool together some of those card pools that have never been able to interact. And this is an example of what we could possibly see with the Emperor, who is both a warrior and a wizard. And looking at those card pools, they don't overlap much. I've already tried to start building a deck for it. They don't overlap much. But it could be a really interesting scenario depending on what they print going forward. And there could be some really cool unexplored design space going forward.
3 hero sets are superior to 4 hero sets.
That fizzles. I disagree. I think if we're talking from a draft perspective, I think WTR and I think Monarch are actually better draft experiences than Tails and then Uprising. That's just literally what I feel, and I felt that way, I think, as long as I can remember. I enjoyed Monarch draft experience far more than I did Tails because of the 4 hero rotation. I think the 3 hero rotation is cool. It's still fun, but I don't think I enjoy it nearly as much as something like a WTR or a Monarch. So for me, that fizzles.
When watching a Flesh and Blood broadcast, top to bottom orientation of the board is just better than left to right orientation.
Okay, so we're saying top to bottom.
Like you have one of the one of the boards is going to be on, heroes is on the bottom, the other's on the top versus the left to right. Because this is frankly, honestly, I get this question a lot, and whenever I'm dealing with either an organizer, a tournament organizer that's doing Flesh and Blood for the first time, they ask me, they say, is it better left or right, top to bottom? And I've put out polls, and the polls have been fairly polarizing and split, and the science on this is really up for debate. So I'm asking you, Armada, what your preference is. Tell us which one is better.
I say it fizzles because the question was, or the statement was, top to bottom is better. I think left to right's better. I think left to right's better because it's easier to see from both players' cards. Like when they play that down on a combat chain, it's easier to kind of keep track of that. It also reminds me of you standing between both players and watching the game in person. And so even all the way back in the day when I was like filming like gameplay at an event, I would always position the camera to the left or to the right and then film down at a slight angle so that it gave you the impression that you're just standing there watching the game. So I think that fizzles.
That's a very good point there. And you know what? The more I think about it, I kind of get that feeling as well, that you're kind of just, you're enjoying the game like anyone else would be, right? Okay, this one's going to be kind of tossed out there to the now ever-growing Azalea cult. So there's a league of Levia, but there's an Azalea cult, which is growing in prominence and such. Don't ask me why. I'm definitely not one of those, but Azalea will get a new weapon in Dynasty.
I'm going to say that fizzles because they've given Azalea specifically enough bows to take advantage of. Death Dealer, Redliner, and the one from Everfest, which I'm blanking on.
It's not Shiver. No, it's...
why am I blanking on that one? It's
Death
really Dreadbore.
Dreadbore, that's the one, yeah.
So she has access to 3 bows, and all of which are like fine. They all work. I think she doesn't need a bow. I think she needs some other cards. But power to the Azalea cult. That's pretty cool. There's some good people in there.
The game needs to slow down and move away from aggro dominance.
I say that fizzles because I actually enjoy good aggro decks in a format. Does it need to slow down completely? I don't think so, because I think it's actually at a decent pace. Could it slow down a little bit? Sure. Do I think it's actually... I think it actually may slow down a little bit. I'm not sure what you think, but I think the presence of Oldhim going forward, being a bit more comfortable to run out there and not worry about running into something that's just an absolute buzzsaw of a matchup, I feel like that is going to slow the meta down to some degree. But I don't think it needs to slow down a ton.
I think that there was actual talk from LSS that they were looking to start shifting, and hopefully with Dynasty shift it a little bit and sort of, throttle back in terms of the aggression of the deck list and the heroes that are coming out. So we'll see. But I like what you're talking about, Oldhim. Now that Prism's gone, Oldhim can come out to play a little bit more comfortably. But I also had the privilege of casting a Oldhim versus Fi match where Oldhim beat the living piss out of a Fi and ended it on a 14-point pummeled Command and Conquer for lethal, which was brilliant to watch. So even the old man can get it done sometimes. Clint Eastwood style, coming out of retirement.
Pummel's a good card, man. Pummel's really good.
It's those cards that kind of come back into rotation every now and then and say, hey, remember me? I can still beat the crap out of somebody. Love it. Love to see it. This one is because I spent a crap load of time on planes going to and from France, and I got to watch a whole bunch of movies, some of which were good, some of which were pure dog organic doo-doo. I won't tell you which one this is. However, Anya Taylor-Joy rather, was in it, and the statement is, Anya Taylor-Joy as Prism is good casting.
That resolves. That seems fun. I wouldn't... Well, can I pick someone else?
You can... I mean, if it's good casting, then it resolves, but you can have your own opinions. I mean, it's not just, like, set out for her. It's just the first person that always springs to mind when I'm thinking about real-life casting of these characters.
I think that resolves. I think that would be a good resolution. Put some like Coke bottle glasses on her and sit her down and just start reading books. I think I could definitely see that. Someone could do a Photoshop of that. Someone should do a Photoshop of that and just send it to us.
So far, I've done on the stack. I've thrown Henry Cavill as Bravo, I've thrown Cillian Murphy as Kano, and now we have Anya Taylor-Joy as Prism. The only other one I think that I thought of for Prism was I don't even know the actress's name, but she plays Nurse Church, or is it Church or Chapel? There's Chapel on Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. So
I've never watched that show.
Yeah,
I've not watched any Star Trek: Strange New Worlds at all.
If you take a look at who that actress is, I don't know her name, and I apologize for it, but she also kind of fits the bill. But Anya Taylor-Joy to me is it. A wizard will win nationals in 2022.
If that's possible, then it would be Icelander. And I don't think it's possible, so it fizzles. And I'm sad about it, but I understand it as well. I think Icelander is in a decent spot overall, but I don't think a wizard is going to win in the field necessarily. But I'm gonna root for it like crazy.
So I initially wrote this as Kano because I know you're absolutely just a big Kano fan, but I know you also just like wizards in general, and I thought that Kano has no shot. That's just my opinion. However, I do feel like Icelander has an outside chance, so I rewrote it to just wizard entirely. I think it's gonna happen. I really do.
Really?
I sincerely think that Icelander is gonna take something down. It's gonna there's gonna be a nationals out there where she finds the right meta. There's too much that can beat the crap out of her, but I do think that with Prism gone, she has such a better outlook now for these major tournaments.
I agree with that, but I will say that she's probably the hardest deck to play as far as like the meta heroes. So it's a little tough to argue that she's going to pick it up because I do think she's one of the hardest decks to play. And
there's some great players out there. Hopefully one of them can break it. We saw how it happened out there at the Pro Tour as well. Icelander is certainly a force to be reckoned with, but skill cap is high. DMArmada, you are just a legend, and I appreciate you, my friend, and I hope to see you soon in some capacity. I will see you soon.
Yeah, we will.
Damn right.
Yeah. And we're going to the Nats together, aren't we?
We are. We absolutely are. We've got a few days to just hang out, and we will be casting some matches together, and it's going to be brilliant, my friend.
That's going to be good, yeah.
Where can people find more of the DMArmada?
Well, they can go to the old youtube.com/DMArmada. Go to Twitter, Armada_DM. I should get on Instagram more. I don't do that much. Maybe I'll get on Instagram more at, I think it's just DMArmada. I don't even know. Do people use that? I don't know.
I don't really. I have an Instagram account. I've posted, I think, one picture on it just to say that there's a picture on there. I don't use it ever, but there are some people who insist that that's either the way to make contact or that I have to, if there's something I need to see, it has to be through there. So that's why I have an account.
And then I know you were telling me right before we started that you're big into TikTok, and so I just created a TikTok. It's Flake's best friend _DMArmada star winky face. So just look that up, and you can catch all my short commentary and stuff on there.
The one reason why I absolutely just will never do TikTok is because there was that phase where every TikTok video that was ever shown to me had the same video, or the same song that was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no.
All you had to do was sing the first one, and everybody immediately just turned the video off.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm done, I'm out of here.
That was it. That turned me off from an entire app, not just the video. You made me delete an app. So congratulations, stupid song. All right, friends. Thank you so much for listening to The Stack. It has been a wonderful time, friends. DMArmada, you're a legend. I said that already. I will say it again forever and always. We'll catch you next time on The Stack. Don't forget, you're not losing if you're learning. Have a good one. The Stack is brought to you by Realm Gaming in Mansfield, Ohio, a wonderful place to get your flesh and blood fix, but not just that, they also specialize in Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. So if that's where you need to be to get your card fix, that's the place you want to go. RealmGamingNetwork.com. Keith and Jacob, who run the place, are developing a wonderful community of fun and inclusivity. They are also the ones who put on that magnificent 10K out in Ohio. So if you want to get a good fix on cards or just play the game, if you're in the Ohio region, you want to go to Realm Gaming. RealmGamingNetwork.com.